Hello everyone, I welcome you all for the course Engineering Metrology on the topic screw thread measurement and gear metrology. So this is the third lecture. In this lecture, the contents are recalling of the lecture 2 and then a measurement of effective diameter using one wire method, two wire method and three wire method, and then we will determine the best size of the wire and then discuss the threaded micrometer for the measurement of effective diameter, and then we discuss the tool maker's microscope, and then we will summarize the today's topic contents. So in the lecture 2, so we understood that so the accuracy of the screw thread is depends on the number of parameters. So we need, in order to check the accuracy, we need to check at least 5 important elements. So if there is any error in any of these 5 important elements, that causes the rejection of the thread. So what are those important elements? Major diameter, minor diameter, effective diameter, pitch, and angle of the thread. So these must be checked to check the accuracy of the screw thread. And we discussed what is the effect of major diameter and the accuracy of the screw thread. So if there is any error in the major diameter, that will cause the interference with the mating threads, and the error in the major diameter will reduce the flank contact. So in case of internal threads, if any error is there in the major diameter, so that will weakens the strength of the screw thread by reducing the wall thickness. And similarly, the errors on the minor diameter will cause interference with the mating threads and also reduces the flank contact and also weakens by reduction of cross section of the root. And errors on the effective diameter will determine the amount of tightness or slackness or interference between the flanks of the mating threads. And then the error in the pitch and angle that causes a progressive tightening and interference on the assembly takes place. And these two errors, that is pitch error and the angle error, have the special significance because these two are directly related to the effective diameter. And the pitch errors are classified into progressive pitch error, periodic pitch error, drunken error, and erratic or irregular errors. So in the periodic pitch error, the successive portions of the thread are either longer or shorter than the mean. So this type of error occurs when the tool work velocity ratio is not maintained constant. So we have seen the varieties of pitch errors in the last class. Coming to the today's class, so we'll explain how to measure the effective diameter of the screw thread. So as you know, what is the effective diameter? It is the diameter of imaginary cylinder that passes through the pitch line of the screw thread. So in this, at the effective diameter, the width of the threads and the width of the spaces between the threads should be equal. So the various methods used for measuring the effective diameter are: one is the one wire method, two wire method, and three wire methods, and then a thread micrometer method. So the thread measurement by wire method is simple and a popular way of measuring an effective diameter. So in this we use the steel wires. These are placed in the grooves of the screw thread, and then the distance over the screw thread wires are measured as a part of the measurement process in calculating the effective diameter. In that the first one is one wire method. So this one wire method is used if the standard gauge of the same dimension as the theoretical value of the dimension over the wire is available. So first of all, we will set the standard gauge. On the standard gauge, we will take the micrometer readings. So in place of the screw thread, we will place the standard gauge. The dimension is equal to the theoretical value of the dimension over the wire is available. And the dimension over the standard cylinder is taken. So let us that the dimension is D1. So after taking the dimension over the standard dimension, the standard cylinder is or standard gauge is removed, and then we place the screw thread, and one wire is placed in the groove of the screw thread, and then the micrometer annuals are moved towards the steel wire and the crest points of the screw thread, and then the measurement is taken over the steel wire is D2. So here we can take the measurement over the wires at different locations. And then we will take the average value. And this value is compared with the standard gauge. So you will get the difference between the standard gauge and the dimension over the wires. This difference will give the reflection of the error in the effective diameter of the screw. So here we need to consider an important point is that the diameter of the wire should be selected in such a way that it makes contact at the with the screw along the pitch cylinder. So this point we need to consider. Therefore, the effective diameter is equal to capital D plus or minus D1 difference D2, where D is the size of the setting gauge, and if D2 is greater than D1, then use the positive sign, and if D2 is less than D1, we use the negative sign. But the difficulty in the one wire method is that the micrometer axis may not remains perpendicular to the axis of the screw thread. Next, coming to the two wire method. So in this method, so we use the two steel wires of identical diameter, and these two wires are placed on opposite flanks of the screw. So this is one diameter of the roller, and this is the another diameter of the roller. So here we consider the identical diameters, and these are placed opposite flanks of the screw thread. And the distance over the wires, that is M, is measured using the micrometer. Then we can calculate effective diameter is equal to T plus P. So here the T is the dimension under the wires. Dimension under the wires. And this distance is P by 2. And this distance also P by 2. So this value is called the correction factor. And T value is equal to M minus 2D. So here this is T value. Okay, so that is maximum diameter over the wires is m minus this diameter of the wire and this diameter of the wire. So t is equal to m minus 2d. Here the d is equal to diameter of the best wire, and this p value and the effective diameter E is equal to t plus p. Effective diameter E is equal to t plus p, where p is the distance between the effective diameter and the dimension under the wires. So the effective diameter is calculated as E is equal to t plus p, where t is the dimension of the wires, that is m minus 2d, and m equal to dimension over the wires and d equal to diameter of each wire, and p dash is the pitch. Then the correction factor value p can calculate for Whitworth thread. It is this, we use this relation 0.9605 times pitch minus 1.1657 times the diameter of the best wire. If it is metric thread, we can use correction factor is equal to 0.866 times the pitch minus the diameter of the best wire. And the correction factor P is the difference between the effective diameter and the diameter under the wires. And the diameter under the wires can also be determined by using this formula. T is equal to S minus R1 minus R2, where S is the standard dimension, standard gauge diameter, and R1, R2 are the readings over the standard gauge, and R2 is the reading over the wires, where S is the diameter of the standard. So theoretically, we can also found the correction factor value P. So for that, we can derive the P value in terms of the pitch and the diameter of the wire and the thread angle. So here we are considering only one groove of the thread. So let us, this is the thread. We have the number of grooves. And here we need to find out this AQ. This AQ is nothing but P by 2. If you know the P value, we can calculate P by 2, right? So that is PQ, AQ we need to find out. So AQ is equal to PQ minus AP, right? So by using this, so this is the diameter of the best wire, diameter of the best wire. So here BC is lying on the effective diameter, this BC, and this is the effective diameter line, and BC is lying on the effective diameter. Therefore, BC becomes, so according to the definition of the pitch, this pitch is nothing but up to this point, right? Root to root point or crest to crest point. Root to root point or crest to crest point. That means up to this. Now this BC becomes, so this is half of the groove and this is the half of the groove, that is one complete groove, and this is the another groove. That means the distance between distance of the two grooves is called the pitch. What is the distance of the one groove? Is nothing but the pitch by 2, right? This is the half of the groove and this is the half of the groove, that makes one complete groove, and this is the another groove. That means distance between the two grooves is called the pitch. So here it is the distance between distance of the only one groove. So that is half of the pitch. Okay, or we divide this into 4 equal parts. And this is, and this is. So this is nothing but the pitch. So this is pitch by 4. And here also this is pitch by 4. That means BC is equal to pitch by 2. That is half of the pitch. Next. Next, what is OP? So this is the triangle OEP. From the triangle OEP, so this is angle is x by 2. This is 90 degree. From the triangle OEP, what is sine x by 2? Is equal to OE makes the opposite side and OP makes the hypotenuse. Therefore, what is OP? Is equal to OE divided by sine x by 2. What is 1 by sine theta? It is a cosecant theta. So OE cosecant x by 2. But what is OE? OE is nothing but the radius of the wire. So R diameter by 2. Diameter by 2 into cosecant x by 2. So that is OP. So here we need to find out AQ value. So AQ is nothing but PQ minus AP, right? So this is total length is PQ, and by subtracting AP value, we can get AQ value. And we can find out PQ, this PQ. So here it is 90 degree, and this is the angle x by 2. And we need to find out PQ, right? By taking this this QC, you know, this QC is equal to P by 4, and BQ is equal to P by 4. So this is P by 4, pitch by 4. And this is also pitch by 4. So this value is P dash by 4. And this QP, right? PQ we can calculate. So PQ from the tan theta, from what is tan x by 2? So tan x by 2 is equal to opposite side is QC divided by adjacent side is PQ. Therefore, PQ is equal to QC divided by tan theta, tan x by 2. Therefore, PQ is equal to QC is nothing but P by 4 divided by tan theta. 1 by tan theta is equal to cot theta, right? P by 4 cot x by 2. So here PQ is equal to P by 4 cot x by 2, or P dash by 4 cot x by 2. And then we need to calculate what is AP value. If you know the AP value, by subtracting AP from the PQ, you can get AQ. So in order to find out the AQ value, sorry, right, AP value. So AP is equal to PQ, that is OP minus AO or OA. So OP minus OA will give us the AP. So OA is nothing but it is diameter by 2, and we need to find out OP. That OP is already calculated as d by 2 cosecant x by 2. So OP is equal to d by 2 cosecant x by 2 minus OA is nothing but d by 2. So if you take d by 2 common, we will get cosecant x by 2 minus 1. Now we know AP value and then PQ value. So by substituting AP value here in this expression and PQ values in this expression, we will get AQ is equal to P by 4 cot x by 2 minus d by 2 into cosecant x by 2 minus 1. So what is AQ? It is P by 2. So P by 2 is equal to AQ. But what is the correction factor? P is equal to 2 times the AQ. Now multiplying this equation by 2. So we'll get P is equal to, correction factor P is equal to P dash by 2 cot x by 2 minus d into cosecant x by 2 minus 1. So if you know the P value, you can calculate the effective diameter as E is equal to T plus P. So here the T you can calculate by using this formula m minus 2d, and then by adding this P value, you can get the effective diameter. But what is the limitation of this two-wire method is, so alignment is not possible by two-wire method, and this can be provided only by the floating carriage micrometer or floating carriage machine. So with the help of a floating carriage machine only, the two-wire method can be used for measuring the effective diameter. So because the alignment is not possible by two wires only. Coming to the three-wire method. So this three-wire method is a more accurate method compared to the one-wire and two-wire. So in this, two wires are placed on one side of the screw thread into the grooves, and one wire is placed on the opposite side of the screw thread, grooves of the screw thread. So because of these two wires, so we will get the alignment. So one wire on one side and two wires on the other side of the thread makes the alignment of the measurement, alignment of the micrometer annual faces. So this is called a floating carriage micrometer. So this has the base made up of cast iron, and this has the centers. So these centers can be moved in and out to accommodate the different size of the workpieces and holding up the workpiece. And perpendicular to this, we have the large diameter thimble micrometer with a large diameter thimble, so which can be used to measure the either minor diameter or effective diameter. And this micrometer can move on the carriage. So this carriage moves on the ball tracks. So that can that is why it is called the floating carriage micrometer. And there is a fiducial indicator, so which can be used to apply the same pressure on all the screw threads. So this figure also represents the floating carriage micrometer. So here we have the hooks to hang the 2 wires or 3 wires onto the grooves of the screw thread, and then the spindle or anvils moves over the wires, and then we will take the reading. And this portion of the this head can be moved on the table, and we can lock at any desired position. So in this figure you can see, you can directly gives the effective diameter and the display unit. So we have the micrometer screws, and there is a centers to hold the workpiece. These are the centers, and then the steel wires are hung in the grooves of the screw thread, and then micrometer is moved, and then we'll get the floating the effective diameter of the screw thread directly on the display unit. So here the measurement of minor diameter, the reading is taken by using the suspended prisms. For measuring the effective diameter, the reading on suspended cylinders. So this is the 3-wire method. So already told the 2-wire, in the 3-wire method, the 2 wires are placed on one side of the grooves, successive grooves of the grooves in the screw thread, and one is placed in the opposite to this groove. So here we need to find out the effective diameter. So here this is the measurement over the wires, that is capital M, and E is the effective diameter. And D is the diameter of the wire, and this H is height of the wire center above the pitch line, and R is the radius of the wire, this radius of the wire, and H is the depth of the thread, and D is the measure diameter of the thread. Okay, so how do you evaluate the effective diameter? So effective diameter E is equal to this M minus, you need to subtract this H, okay. Similarly, we have the screw thread at the bottom also. So here also we have the H. So by 2H, okay, minus this radius of the cylinder, R. Similarly, we have the bottom side, we have the R. Bottom side, we have the R, 2 times the radius. So in this way, we can measure the effective diameter. If you calculate the H value, and if you measure the capital M over the wires, then you can calculate what is the effective diameter. So here we need to calculate the E value here, right? So this we need to calculate, right? Or M is equal to this E plus, up to this it is H up to this it is H, and here we have the R. Similarly, here also we have the R. So capital M is equal to E plus 2H plus 2R. So by using this formula, we can evaluate the effective diameter. So once you calculate the H value, you can calculate the effective diameter. So in order to find out this small h, the small h is nothing but, you see, this is the point A and this is the point D. If you subtract the AD minus CD, right, you will get the H value. So AD minus CD will give us the H. So now how do we calculate the AD and CD values? So let us from the triangle ABD, this is A, this is B, and this is D. So what is AD? So this is 90 degree, and this angle is theta by 2. And what is the sine theta by 2? Sine theta by 2 is equal to, so AB makes the opposite side, divided by AD makes the hypotenuse. Therefore, we require AD. AD is equal to AB by sine theta by 2, or AB into cosecant theta by 2. So what is AB? AB is nothing but the radius of the cylinder, or diameter by 2. So this nothing but diameter by 2 into cosecant theta by 2. AD value we got. And then what is H? Is thread height. So this is capital H. This height is H. And this angle also becomes theta by 2, opposite angle. So this angle is theta by 2, this opposite angle also theta by 2. And what is tan theta by 2? Tan theta by 2 is equal to, so DE makes the opposite side, right? And AD, sorry, AC, right? AC. This, right, this is AD, right? This height is H. This height is H. So DE by H. Therefore, H is equal to DE into DE by tan theta by 2. But what is DE? Okay. So this, right? So this is called total pitch. H is equal to DE cot theta by 2. So this groove makes the pitch by 2, makes the length is equal to pitch by 2. This groove length makes the length is equal to pitch by 2. Therefore, we require only this, right, D. So this becomes pitch by 4. Pitch by 4. So this is this total length is pitch by 2, and this also makes the same length. So that is a pitch by 2 into cot theta by 2. So H is equal to dE cot theta by 2. So according to the pitch, this is total pitch. So this is half of the pitch. So that is pitch by 2 into cot theta by 2. And CD is equal to, it is half of the height of the thread, that is H by 2. So H, you know what is P by 2 cot theta by 2, and half of this is P by 4 cot theta by 2. So therefore, you can calculate what is the small h. Small h is equal to AD minus CD. So AD value, you know, is equal to D by 2 cosecant theta by 2. And CD value, you know, H by 2, that is P by 4 cot theta by 2. Therefore, D by 2 cosecant theta by 2 minus P by 4 cot theta by 2 will give the value of small h. So, and therefore, M is equal to E plus 2H plus 2R. That is E plus 2 into small h is this value, and 2R. So therefore, M is equal to E plus D into 1 plus cosecant theta by 2 minus P by 2 cot theta by 2. So where D is the diameter of the wire and P is the pitch of the screw thread. Theta is the included angle of the screw thread. By substituting the theta value, you can get the effective diameter. For Whitworth thread, theta is equal to 55 degree. So therefore, the depth of the thread becomes 0.64 times pitch. Therefore, the effective diameter is equal to D minus 0.64 times the pitch. And if it is a metric thread, depth of the thread is equal to 0.6495 times the pitch, and effective diameter will become capital D minus 0.6495 times the pitch. And this is the final relation for metric thread for measuring the diameter over the wires. M is equal to D plus 3D minus 1.5155 times the pitch. So we can measure the value of M practically and then compare with the theoretical values using the formula. So after finding the correct M value and D is known, then E can be found out using these formulas. Next, what is the best size wire? Best size of the wire. So the best size of the wire is one which makes contact at the pitch line. So that means OB is the line, the diameter of the wire, which makes contact with the flanks of the screw thread at the pitch line. That is R at the effective diameter of the screw thread. So from this figure, OB is perpendicular to the flank portion of the screw thread at the pitch line. So in the triangle OAB, so this is O, this is A, this point is A, this is B. From the triangle OAB, so here this angle is theta by 2, and this angle becomes 90 minus theta by 2. This angle is 90 minus theta by 2 because this is 90 degree. So this angle is theta by 2 and this makes an angle 90 minus theta by 2. From this, what is sine 90 minus theta by 2? From the triangle OAB, what is sine theta by 2? This is 90 degree. This AB makes the opposite side and OB makes the hypotenuse. Therefore, OB is equal to AB divided by sine 90 minus theta by 2. What is sin 90 minus theta by 2? Is cos theta by 2. That is equal to AB by cos theta. AB by cos theta means AB secant theta by 2. But what is AB? Right? So this portion is P by 4, pitch by 4, and this portion is also pitch by 4. So AB is nothing but P by 4 secant theta by 2. That is equal to OB. But what is OB? Is the radius of the, this OB is nothing but radius of the wire. Therefore, diameter by 2. Let us, diameter is the best diameter, best size of the diameter by 2 is equal to P by 4 secant theta by 2. So therefore, dB becomes, so 2 1 ja 2 2 ja. dB becomes P by 2 secant theta by 2. So dB is equal to P by 2 secant theta by 2. So if it is metric thread, theta is equal to 60 degree. By substituting, you will get the best size of the wire equal to 0.577 times the pitch. And also you can find out what is the maximum diameter of the wire and the minimum diameter of the wire by substituting the values. So this figure shows the availability of the wires, right? This is 1.65 mm diameter wire, 0.53 mm diameter wire, 0.62 mm diameter wires. So these wires can be used for measuring the diameter over the wires. So this is the thread micrometer. So this similar to the micrometer, this also has the main scale reading, and there is a thimble reading. So we have the spindles, hollow spindles. So we have the replaceable this anvils, replaceable anvils. These anvils can be replaceable depending upon the diameter of the screw thread. So these replaceable anvils are not sharp edges, they are a straight edge at the bottom, because this should not contact at the root of the point. Similarly, the another anvil is also not a sharp edge, it is a flat edge. So this is the fixed anvil that will be placed in the left hollow portion of the spindle, and this is the movable anvil. This can be placed in the hollow spindle of the right section, right side section. And by keeping this anvils into the hollow spindles, and then we can move these spindles to contact at the pitch line. Therefore, we can take what is the main scale reading and what is the thimble reading, and then by adding the main scale reading with the thimble reading multiplied by the least count, we will get the total reading of the effective diameter. So here also you can observe from the right side figure. So the pitch diameter is measured at the pitch line. So by moving the spindle up to the pitch line point, fixed anvil and the movable anvil is moved up to the pitch line, then I will take the reading. So these are available in different sizes depending upon the pitch of the screw thread. So here we have the metric screw the anvils and the Whitworth anvils. So if it is pitch is 1.5 mm, we need to select these two anvils for measuring the effective diameter. Similarly, if the Whitworth thread is having 12 threads per inch, then we can select these two anvils for measuring the effective diameter. Similarly, there is a set of anvils for measuring the effective diameter of different pitch for both Whitworth and the metric threads. And coming to this is the toolmaker's microscope. So toolmaker's microscope is a multifunctional optical measuring machine. This is equipped for external and internal length measurements, as well as measurements of screw threads, profiles, curvatures, and angles. So this consists of a hollow base made of cast iron. On the base, the table is mounted. On the table, we have the glass plate. So here the table can be moved perpendicular to the supporting column and also parallel to the supporting column. So here the table can also be rotated through 360 degrees. So these motions can be obtained by rotating the micrometer screws for both lateral movement of the table as well as the longitudinal movement of the table, and also for the rotation. So workpiece is placed on the glass plate, which is placed on the table, and there is a projected lens in the optical head, and this optical head can be moved up and down along the supporting column, along the guideways, and you can lock at any desired position by clamping the screw. So the required magnification is achieved by this by moving this optical head up and down. So this figure shows the optical system which is provided in the optical microscope. So we have a tungsten filament lamp which generates the light source, and this light source passed through the collimator lens. So this lens converts this optical light source into parallel beam of light, and this parallel beam of light is reflected through 90 degrees by this mirror, and this reflected light rays pass through the table, underside of the table, onto the workpiece. So this light rays, when passed through this workpiece, the image is magnified by the projecting lens. That magnified image is projected onto the graticule, which has the cross wires. Onto the graticule, the image is projected, which has the ground glass screen, right? The graticule is made of a glass screen. So graticule glass screen has the cross wires. This is called a graticule. So the image is formed on the graticule. This has the scale, and this can be rotated through 360 degrees. The glass screen can be rotated through 360 degrees. So that image can be viewed through this eyepiece. So here this is the eyepiece. So we can view this image through this eyepiece. So here the work table is movable and rotatable through 360 degrees and is placed on the base of the instrument. Optical head is mounted on the vertical column and it can be moved up and down. Workpiece is mounted on the glass plate, and the light source provides a horizontal beam of light, so which is reflected from the mirror by 90 degree upwards towards the table. Okay. So finally the image is projected through the prisms to a ground glass screen. So the measurements are made by means of cross lines engraved on the ground glass screen, that is called graticule. The screen can also be rotated through 360 degrees. So we'll have the different types of graduated screens and eyepieces are used in the profile projector or toolmaker's microscope. So what are the applications of toolmaker's microscope? So we can use this toolmaker's microscope for measuring the linear measurement. Length measurement you can use, and also we can use for measurement of the pitch of the screw. So this length we can measure with the help of this because it is a linear measurement that can be possible using the toolmaker's microscope. And the measurement of pitch diameter we can measure, and the thread angle you can measure. So this angle you can measure. So by rotating the ground glass screen, so which has the graduations in degrees, first we place the one cross wire over the one flank of the tooth, one flank of the screw thread, and then the same cross wire is rotated onto the opposite flanks of the screw thread. Then we can measure. So here we can take the reading as R1, and after moving or rotating the ground glass screen onto the opposite flank, then we take the reading as R2. The difference between R1 and R2 will give us the thread angle. And comparing the thread forms, if we have the number of different forms of screw threads, so we can combine onto the ground glass screen, and then we can compare the thread forms. Measure the diameter of holes and distances between the centers. So we have the center distance between the two holes we can measure. As it is a linear distance, so you can measure the center distance by rotating the micrometer screws. So 1 micrometer is set at the center distance of the one hole, and then it is moved onto the center distance of the other hole, so that we can measure what is the distance between the two holes. So let us initially we take the reading as R1. After moving to the center distance of the other hole, then we take the reading as R2. So the difference between R1 and R2 will give us the center distance between the two holes. And the thread form and flank angle measurement, you can determine the relative position of various points on work. And get tooth spacing. Get tooth spacing can also be measured using the toolmaker's microscope. Position of keyway with reference to the center of the bore. So this can be measured with the help of toolmaker's microscope. So this is the today's class. Now we will summarize the contents. So what is the effective diameter? So the effective diameter, the width of the threads and the width of the spaces between them should be equal. And the various methods used for measuring the effective diameter are: one is screw thread micrometer method, and one wire method, two wire method, and three wire methods. And one wire method is used if the standard gauge of the same dimension as the theoretical value of dimension over the wire is available. And this can be measured by using this formula: D plus or minus D1 difference D2. Where D is the size of the setting gauge. If D2 is greater than D1, use the positive sign, and if D2 is less than D1, use the negative sign. But the difficulty in the one wire method is that the micrometer axis may not remain exactly at right angles to the thread axis. And then two wire method, this effective diameter is equal to T plus P, where T value is calculated as M minus 2D. But T value can also be calculated by using this experimentally S minus R1 minus R2. And P is the correction factor. If it is our Whitworth thread, this is the correction factor value. It is a metric thread, it is the correction factor value. And this correction factor value can also be calculated theoretically by using this formula: P is equal to pitch by 2 cot x by 2 minus D into cosecant x by 2 minus 1. After finding this p value, by substituting this relation, we can find out the effective diameter. Similarly, in the 3-wire method, the measurement over the wires is equal to effective diameter plus d into 1 plus cosecant theta by 2 minus p by 2 cot theta by 2. So here, if theta is equal to 55 for the Whitworth thread, then m is equal to E is equal to d minus 0.64 times the pitch. And similarly, for the metric thread, theta is equal to 60 degree, E is equal to d minus 0.6495 times the pitch. And we defined the best size of the wire is nothing but it is p by 2 secant theta by 2. For metric thread, theta is equal to 60 degree. By substituting here, you will get 0.577 times the pitch. And the toolmaker's microscope is a multifunctional optical measuring equipment for measuring the internal lengths, external lengths, as well as a measurement on screw threads, profiles, curvatures, and angles. So this is about the today's class. And then these are the references we have taken for preparing this material. Thank you.